Hello, my name is Richard Pugh, and my partner and I today will be discussing a topic that has probably been on everyone's thoughts and prayers in 2010, and that's Haiti. Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. Their economy has declined since 1954. They have a predominant black society with 95%, and the other 5% being white. Even though 80% of the country is Roman Catholic, over half of the country still practices voodoo. Due to the 2010 earthquake, poverty levels have especially been high. Things that could be accredited to the poverty levels is the HIV and AIDS that 120,000 people have throughout Haiti. Due to the lack of health care, multiple infectious diseases can be caught while in Haiti, such as prozol, diarrhea, hepatitis A and E, typhoid fever, and malaria. And also due to the lack of health care, the average lifespan of a normal person in Haiti is from the mid-40s to late 40s. Now I'm going to introduce my partner, Chad, and he's going to come up and talk about his personal experience in Haiti.
My name is Chad Thompson, and today, of course, as Richard mentioned, we are talking about the poverty levels in Haiti and how it got to be that way. As everybody remembers, or most everyone knows, in 2010 there was a massive earthquake that took many lives in Haiti and destroyed much of the countryside. About 4 months after the earthquake hit Haiti, I actually got to take a trip over there and spend an entire week photographing and documenting the experience. The things I thought that I would see and do while I was there didn't actually turn out to be that way. In fact, I learned a lot of things about Haiti and during my time and experience there that I didn't see on the media or on the news related programs that would describe Haiti in the way you would think they would. In fact, Haiti was the total opposite of what I saw on the news. From the images that I produced while I was there, I felt like we're more unbiased. And as you can see in a lot of the images that will be sliding up beside of me, the poverty levels in Haiti were terrible, because just to imagine the appearance of these images is one thing, to be able to see these images and experience it in the visual sense, but the smells and the personal sightings and the interactions amongst the people was a whole nother journey. For example, in this image you can see in the streets it's just full of open sewage and waste that is just thrown out amongst the streets. And on these same streets where these open sewers are is where the kids play, and shops are open, and people of course are walking and traveling, many of which are barefoot. And also food is cooked on the sides of these streets. Many animals, as graphic as it may sound, that are eaten are even slaughtered right on these very streets where food's being prepared, or children walking barefoot. There's glass broken all over the place. It's really a mess over there. And part of that is because their government really has no care for the Haitian people. In fact, as soon as the earthquake happened, the president of Haiti fled immediately and has rarely been seen or heard from ever since then. The United Nations in Haiti has a very strong presence. Especially when I was there was loads of checkpoints, and when we would be traveling from place to place, obviously in a society of this type, us as white Americans were very noticeable, and therefore the UN members would notice us, and it was really comforting to know that when we saw them they would give us a thumbs up. Well, I didn't know it until our guide explained it to us that the thumbs up actually meant, "Are you guys okay?" If we wouldn't have smiled or given them the thumbs up back, then they would have actually pulled over the vehicle we were traveling in and basically arrested the people we were with to make sure that we had our safety. So to go to sleep at night in a third world country and having no power or no electricity, no food like we're used to. There was no McDonald's we could just drive up to and buy a burger. We were literally eating noodles and weeks old fish that wasn't stored in a freezer. It was stored on ice in wooden crates and would smell horrible by the end of the week. Not being able to wake up every day and shower, but instead you have bottles of Purell or other barred soap, and you would take a towel and more or less bathe in your own sweat. It was a new experience that I'm glad to have experienced, because now I can bring that story back and explain to everyone else. But until I experienced these situations firsthand did I actually truly understand how the circumstances really were. So both Richard and I would like to thank everybody for viewing our presentation, and we hope you enjoy and have learned a little bit about the poverty in Haiti and as the means as to why it is that way today.